Hi everyone and welcome to the first game devlog of Shadow Gaming, and in particular Project Ares. So I'd like to start by talking a bit about ourselves, a bit about the game, and why we've decided to make these videos. So currently Shadow Gaming consists of myself, Greg and Guy. I am currently working on the game in the editor, setting up the foundations of the game, character movement, basic weapons, basic levels, that sort of thing. Greg is working hard not only on writing the storyline for the game, but also on the background lore and some of the missions that are going to be included in the game, while Guy is working developing the 2D art, including things like the HUD, and also sort of like promotional images like you see before you at the moment. So those of you who know something about the games industry will know that things can change very rapidly. Originally back in January when we started talking about this project, the idea was to make a sort of Temple Raider, Tomb Raider style, Indiana Jones-esque sort of puzzle game. And that has changed quite rapidly into more of a sci-fi shooter, but we are still hoping to incorporate some of the elements from the early sort of design documents that we came up with. So there's a few reasons really why we've decided to record this series of videos. The first one being we wanted to show from a very early stage the state of the project, what we've implemented, what we still need to do, how it's currently playing. So when we do start building a sort of community on something like Discord, then people can see where the project's at on a regular basis and be able to give their input, feedback, suggestions onto how to develop the project into a game they'd like to play. The second reason, and this is quite a big one, is there's recently been quite a big scam over on Kickstarter where a group of developers have taken other people's work, other people's assets that are available to buy on the Unreal Engine marketplace, cobbled them together into a trailer video, gameplay video of their own, and basically taken people on Kickstarter for $60,000, and they have very little to show for their investment as they've now disappeared with all the money. So we basically want to, from a very early stage, be honest and open developers, so people who have an interest in our project can see exactly what state it's in on a regular basis again, and decide then if we ever get to the stage where we're asking for backing, people want to invest or not, and they can see how the game's developed, everything that's been done, and current state of the game. And thirdly, it's a good way for us to learn. We can look back further down the line to see how the project's developed, what worked, what went wrong, how things have changed, and hopefully in the future it will improve our workflow. Whilst this isn't an official release announcement, and without going too in depth about any sort of storylines or background to the game just yet, I don't want to steal sort of Greg's thunder there, I would like to talk a little bit about the influences behind the game, because I think they're important, and the games we sort of enjoy and play obviously will have a bearing on the games we make. So first of all, I think we're all big fans of the Assassin's Creed series. I think we all enjoy playing them, the way they play, and the sort of the storylines behind them, as well as more modern day shooters such as Battlefield and Call of Duty. But it's not all about games, obviously, and the game sort of developed because we all have a big love of a film called Blade Runner, and that is kind of where we've sort of taken some of our concept art from. That sort of dirty 80s vision of a futuristic world. So while we're sort of now working towards more of a sci-fi game, we are obviously thinking of that dirty 80s sci-fi rather than sort of lasers and aliens. So some of the concept art that we've sort of pulled up and have been sort of using to help sort of develop the worlds and the design of the game obviously have that sort of Blade Runner-esque sort of style to them. A lot of neon lights, a lot of sort of electronic billboards, and I'm not sure yet whether we're going to have flying cars, but all this concept art seems to have flying cars there or thereabouts. But we'd also like to have, as well as these big sort of neon cities, some kind of open landscapes, undeveloped kind of areas where the corruption hasn't probably quite spread to just yet. So this gives you sort of an idea of some of the artwork that we've been looking at and using to help us develop the game. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at where we are at the moment, and then we'll talk about where we're hoping to go into the near future. So, as people who have already sort of found this channel or seen on my own personal YouTube the development so far, you'll see that neon is already having an influence on an early look of how things are being developed, and you'll know that I've been working on the character movement, just his basic walking, running, that sort of thing, and we've started to add a few more things like footstep sounds and these particle effects for different surfaces. This is really just to give us an idea of what we're going to be working towards. Shooting, guns, that sort of stuff, that's all work in progress at the moment. But we've started to add a few more gameplay mechanics in, like sliding, bolting, and our character can now do some basic climbing. That's currently where we are at the moment. So, looking towards the future, what we're hoping to work on now, we're going to start adding in basic weapons, as well as an inventory system before moving on to a mission system. So that's the next step for myself. Greg is continuing to work on the story, and start to look at some level missions as we develop, so we sort of take that story and break it down into different levels. And Guy is working hard on some promotional stuff, as well as looking at the HUD. So as I start to implement an inventory and then add weapons to the game, Guy's going to be working to bring the visualization, the 2D art and the HUD to the screen. So as you can see, the project is in a very early stage, and obviously we're not looking to build too much of a following behind the game just yet, but we are working on setting up some social media. So obviously we've got this channel on YouTube, as well as my own personal channel where I'll also be promoting the game. We are setting up a Discord server, although we've only just started that and there's only ourselves in it at the moment, and there's absolutely no channels in there other than the basic one it starts with. And we're also going to be exploring the world of TikTok, because having a quick look on there, surprisingly, there's an awful lot of gaming stuff on there. Not so much surprising for sort of the streamer community and the gamer community, but there's actually quite a lot of dev content on there as well. So in the future we'll be exploring that as a platform for social media. So hopefully as this develops, we will be putting the links onto future videos. But for now, we just wanted to introduce the project and show you the stage it's at. So hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for further updates. Thanks so much for watching.